Flosstube. I'm Kim Chamberlain, the Canal Town Stitcher, and welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch, and so I have a lot to share with you. It's been a couple of months since I have been on. The last time that I filmed was, I think, around like the last week of May, maybe the beginning of June, and I was getting ready to head to New York for my 7 weeks in New York, and so I just got back on Sunday. And I had said I was going to maybe give you like a parade of projects that I was going to work on while I was in New York, and I didn't have time to film that. So you're going to get to see all the projects that I worked on while I was in New York, and I guess I'll show you all of the projects I took to New York and then the ones that I worked on, and then I also had a couple of finishes while I was up there. So life updates, I don't have too much to share other than my son Ryan has moved out and in with his longtime girlfriend, and they are now in New York State, and my mama heart is really broken. I basically cried all the way back from New York to North Carolina as I did that drive. You know, like all of you out there that have children that are growing up and moving away, they it just feels like a big chunk of you is just, you know, ripped off of you in a way. But he's doing really well, and he's working really hard, and they're very happy. So I too am very happy for them as they start this new life together. It's different for us. Now we have two that are moved out, my oldest Ethan and then Ryan, and so then we just have Grace and Adam left in the house. And thankfully, though, I have a long time with Adam, so I'm going to be, you know, I told them both, I said, you're not allowed to move anytime soon for any reason at all. So you know, we're kind of going into that new phase of life where we have a lot of new adventures ahead of us, but it's going to be mostly just a smaller family. My family didn't, I mean, my family's not smaller, but it's different. TJ and I took a trip to Savannah in June. We had a beautiful time. It was a lovely trip. It was the first time that we had traveled alone together in a long time, and we had a really nice time. We did all the Savannah things. We did a jump on and off bus tour, and we went to the Prohibition Museum, which was pretty interesting. And we did a tour of Tybee Island, which, you know, we had never been to Savannah before, so it was a really nice little getaway. And we stayed right in the heart of the historic city of Savannah, and we were able to walk to all the restaurants that we went to, and we just had a really nice time. So yeah. Then we went to New York and celebrated Ryan's graduation and his graduation party, and then we visited with friends and family and did all the things that we could do while we were up there. We visited Niagara Falls, and our daughter's boyfriend went with us, and he had never been before, so that was pretty exciting to see. You know, to be able to, we did the Cave of the Winds, and if you've never been to Niagara Falls before, there is an attraction called the Cave of the Winds where you can actually like go on like this like walk, and you can actually like touch the waterfalls. You get soaked. It's a really nice experience. The Maid of the Mist is for people that want to be able to, you're still going to get a little wet, but you'll take pictures of the falls, and you actually can see, if you're in Canada, the American Falls, you actually have the best view from Canada, I should say. So if you can, go to Canada and at least see a view of the falls from Canada, because it's beautiful. But if you're on the American side, you can do the Cave of the Winds, and then you're actually like right there, like right on the falls. Unfortunately for us in America, from the American side of the New York State Niagara Falls State Park, the view of the falls is not as good. It's just, you're pretty much on the side of the falls or behind the falls, so that you really can't get a good like frontal look of them. But from Canada, you can definitely see them, and they're absolutely beautiful. And I mean, they're beautiful anyway. I'm just rambling now because, you know, but we did that, and, you know, all the things, Finger Lakes, TJ and I went to Ports, which is our favorite restaurant. We went for our 24th wedding anniversary, and, we love going there. It's right on Seneca Lake in the heart of the Finger Lakes, right on the Seneca Wine Trail. So if you're familiar with any of that area, then you know exactly where I'm talking about. It's on right on 14, right just outside of Geneva, on Seneca Lake. And that restaurant is amazing. They do nothing but local ingredients, and everything is cooked to order, and they have a beautiful atmosphere in there. We've been going there for 6-7 years, regularly for our anniversary, but we've probably been going there for about, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years in total. Every year we try to go. We also celebrated my dad's birthday and Grace's 16th birthday. She turned 16. And just a lot of family fun, just a lot of overall, we did a lot in New York, and we had a great time. And so now we're back here because I start work this coming up weekend, and the kids had band camp over the summer, and all the things. We're getting ready for all the things. So I did as much stitching as I could while I was in New York. I really, we have a camp. I say that to, you know, as like, not like a campground that we own or anything like that, but we rent a campsite, a seasonal site, at a campground in Springwater, New York. And I like to sit outside of our camper and, stitch in the mornings. It's a really nice time to get a lot of stitching in. And then in the afternoons, we went places. So I got quite a few things done. So I'm going to go through all the WIPs that I took with me, and we'll talk about them. I'm going to start with the 3 that I finished, because I did finish 3 WIPs while I was there. Very, very, very proud of myself. And so some of these, actually one of them I had just started. I haven't ironed anything, so I apologize ahead of time if you wanted to see me show you something that things that I've ironed. I just haven't. So I apologize ahead of time for people that like to see ironed projects. I do have my board. So the first one that I finished this summer is Stitchy Stars. This is by Lori Holt. And I stitched mine a little differently, and I used some different colors for mine. But what I really liked about this pattern was that I was able to like really just kind of take it and make it my own. So I changed a whole bunch of things on it. I stitched this on 32 count natural raw linen by Zweigert. Yes. I just double checked myself and I am correct. I'm going to take the needle out of this because I finished it. And I have a lot of extra fabric on this one, but my intention was to make this small. And again, I'm gonna apologize because it is not ironed. I did have somebody complain once about me not ironing, so. But I have not had the time, and I will not have the time to do it. I will not get this filmed if I have to try to work out ironing it. All right, so here is my finish. So I did this kind of like dark background and light background. I really like this. This is going to go on my mantle during my Memorial Day and my like 4th of July. So I'm gonna mount it on a small board, and I think it's perfect. So honestly, I mean, like, if you wanted to, you can play with this pattern so well. I got this from the Fat Quarter Shop, and I bought the DMC thread pack and everything for this. So you can do it like this. You can do it compiled. I've seen people do it in groups of 3. So they had, like, I did mine as a 6 panel, but I've seen some people do theirs as a 9 or 12 panel as well. You could stitch all of them just as they are, because they are pretty just as they are, but there's, like, this one right here. I made a lot of changes to this one. This one wasn't like this, because I wanted it to have a blue, I like the blue background on that one. This one was also not like this at all. This one is, here, I'll show it to you so you can see it. It's this one actually, right there. But I wanted that dark background because I did it like white, dark, white, and then dark, white, dark, if that makes sense. So I kind of had like a pattern in my mind. But they came out so beautiful. This is really pretty. And I need to get another thingamajiggy. So it's going to drive me nuts. Let me do that. Another doohickey. That's what I'm going to call it, doohickey. So now I can empty this project bag and put these threads away, and this one is done. This one I had started in April of 2022. So it is now complete. All right, next up, completed. Started in February or March of 2022 is Lighting the Way by Silver Creek Samplers. This I dedicated to my husband and I. We were married in the year 2000, so I put 2000 in the bottom. It says, always be a lighthouse. Shine your beacon bright, guide every soul adrift at sea throughout their darkest night. And I've always said that that is how my husband and I have always been. We have been each other's lighthouse for 26 years. Oh, that's another story too. Oh my goodness. So I had to have my ring redone because, my engagement ring I should say, because one of the prongs was gone, and all the heads, I think they call them heads, on the sapphires on my ring were gone. And so I had to, obviously they had to send it away for repair, and I was just beside myself because it has not been off my finger in 26 years, and to send it away was very scary. And then they told me that it wasn't going to be back in time before I left New York, and I was having like a mini heart attack, a panic attack, but then everything worked out and I was able to get it back. So, are you ready? Here it is. I cannot wait to get this in a frame and hang it in our bedroom. It's going in our bedroom. It is so beautiful. I love this finish. And let me tell you, even though there's a lot of details in this, it really was not difficult to stitch. Let me get it a little closer so you can see the bricks on the lighthouse, all of those stars in the sky. And then there's 3 different colors in the ocean water. Isn't this beautiful? This is beautiful. This is stitched on a piece of 32 count Belfast linen in the color Vintage Stormy Night by Quaker. And I love it. Love it. So I will be spending some time, absolutely spending some time getting this framed and So now I'm going to have 3 project bags that I am going to be able to empty, restash my threads, and all right, my last finish is Baltimore Salt Box. This is by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. This is a beautiful piece that I stitched on 32 count fabric, but you're supposed to stitch this on 28 count 1/1, but there's no way I could do that. But I loved this pattern so much. I did change a couple of the colors because it called for Gentle Arts threads and I didn't have them, so I did do the conversion on 1, 2, 3 stitch into DMCs, and I believe that it came out just fine. It's just beautiful. It's stitched on 32 count Winter Moon linen by Zweigert, and I am very pleased with this. So if anybody wants the color conversion for this, just send me a message and I would be happy to provide it. But here it is. Again, this is another one that I cannot wait to get finished. I'll be ironing it and finishing it. But it came out so beautiful. So, so beautiful. Again, this was a nice, easy stitch. What I really liked about this was that the house was not completely filled in. All of that behind it is just the linen. It's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. I love Brenda Gervais' work. This is the first with I Needle and Thread pattern that I have finished. I do have one other started. Did I start the other one too? I have 2 patterns for her. And I think I've only started the one other one. Yes, because I have Be Jolly. I think that's what it's called. And then I have Love Notes that I did start Love Notes though. So isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful. Again, this is going to go on my mantle in the summertime or in my summer rotation. And this will probably be out for most of the summer because it's not all like red, white, and blue. So it's just super pretty. All right, so there's my 3 finishes. So I did have some projects that I did not work on at all. So I guess I will share those next. I took them with me, but I did not work on them. And then we'll go over the ones that I did work on. Okay. Piece number 1 that got no work, the fox. I have not started this yet. I have it kitted. It's ready to go. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Some kind of special moment to work on the fox. I have it all ready. It's all ready. Fabric and everything right here, but I'm stitching this on, what color is this? Alchemy maybe? It is it's 32 count. Picture This Plus. Oh, it's on Nocturne. That's what it's going to be. Oh, it's going to look like this. So, I think this is a big enough piece. It might not be. I decided I was going to measure it before I started it, just in case. not the right size. Anyways, that one went but didn't get didn't get any work. The next one that went that got no work is Heart in Hand, Honey of a Tiny Town. I'm absolutely unsure why I didn't work on this at all. It's still in the hoop. I'll hold it up here. I apologize if you don't like needles in fabric and you don't like seeing things in hoops. It's not going to change, but that's where I am so far on that. I will get back to this. It's definitely going to be worked on. I don't think this is going to take me very long. I said I wanted to have it done before the end of summer, and then I didn't work on it at all. Not one day when I was up there. I looked at it a bunch. I didn't work on it. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count. Unsure of the name of the fabric because I got it from Angel Wings in Southport, North Carolina, and I cannot remember the name of it. But I do know that it's 32 count because I stitch almost everything on 32 count. Next up that did not get any work is Adjust Your Sails. This is by Little Dove Designs. That's the chart. I don't want to show that. It is going to look like this when it's done. I saw somebody recently that had finished this. I can't remember who it was. On Flosstube. If you finished it and you're watching this, let me know. I'm going to show you where I am. In the same spot that I was in several months ago. Unchanged. Because I didn't work on it while I was in New York. But don't worry or fret because I will work on it. This is on a piece of 32 count, Vintage Stormy Night by Picture This Plus. And I will work on this and I will get it done. I promise, I swear. Just got no work while I was up there. It just did not call to me. It was not one of the projects that was like, work on me, work on me. So I didn't. But I do love it and I will work on it. This was one of my 12 by 12 starts on New Year's Eve that I didn't get to start 12 projects. I do plan on doing that this year though because I have finished a lot of projects. I have whittled my WIPs way down. All right, next up that got no work is out of this Just Cross Stitch magazine from a long time ago that I got from my mother-in-law years and years ago from January 1992. And I am stitching this guy right here, the front cover one. And I have not completed any more than what I've already done. That's where I am. I have a feeling I'm going to be stitching this a lot in December. I just feel like I will be. And then the other project that's in this project bag is my Quaker. And I took this in case it was called for WIP Go, and it was not. So I did not work on this at all. And I will pin it up here. I got this chart from Etsy. And I believe you can still get it. I'm stitching it in different colors than what the chart called for. So mine's being stitched with DMC 350, 352, and then 37.99, and I can't remember what that little gray, what that lighter gray is. But it is very pretty. And this will get more work. It is on my WIP Go board again. It was already on there and called once already, but it is on there again so I can get more of it done. This was a 2021 start. I only have 6 maybe 2021 starts left. And that is one of them. And I had started 16 projects in May of 2021 alone. So to only have 6 left, I think I had started and finished probably, oh my gosh, so many, I can't even. All right, next up, that got no work. This is Truck Snow Globe. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I have hated this project since day one. And this was in my restart pile. It is on my WIP Go board. And I will probably be restarting this. I'll show you where I am. I have made so many mistakes on this. So I bought this in 2020 when I first got back to cross stitch again. It was actually the first project that I bought after I first got back into cross stitch. And I made a lot of mistakes in this. This has a lot of beads in it, so I do need to learn how to bead. But I was just so frustrated with it. I was stitching it on 25 count, vintage Stormy Night, even weave. And it is pretty. It's just, I can't even tell you where all the mistakes are. There's so many. This was called, I chose not to. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Like, it's just one of those patterns that, you know, you really like the pattern, but like you don't like stitching it. All right, next up, Prairie Santas. I took this with the hope that I was going to work on these. I'm starting this one right here. I'm doing one for every year that one of my children was born. That's 2004. This is being stitched on 16 count natural Ada that I bought at Hobby Lobby a while ago. I don't shop a lot at Hobby Lobby, but I did pick this up there. I have my own personal reasons that I will not get into. All right, so there he is. Very close to a finish on this one. So why isn't he done? I don't know. There's too many other things that are calling me. I will work on this. I do want to have this done by Christmas. I would like to have one for every one of my children completed and done. These are supposed to be like ornaments. Like, people have made them into ornaments. I'm not going to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish them kind of flat with a bow, and then I'll hang them around when I have everybody's done. I have one for each one of my 4 children, the year that we got married, and then the 2021, because that was the year that I got back, or the 2021 one, because that was the year I got back into cross stitch. Which one is it? It is the 2021 one. 2006 for Ryan, 2008 for Grace, 2010 for Adam, and then 2000 and 2004. I will. All right, next up that didn't get any work on it at all is Raccoon Rabble by Plum Street. I started this last summer when I was at camp and thought, I'll work on it. Well, it was at camp this time. Nope. It got no work. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Belfast linen in the color maybe antique linen, natural linen. It's not natural raw. I don't really know what color this is. I don't have it written down, but it's a beautiful, it might be, I know it's Swigert. It could be, it's not Whisper. Oh no, is this 36 count? This could be 36 count because I'm stitching it 1/2. Or is it 40 count? Good God, I don't know. I'll figure it out later, and if I feel like updating the video later, I will. Here it is. It quite possibly could be 36 count. I know it's higher than 32 because I'm stitching it 1/2. So it's got to be either 36 count or it's got to be 40 count. It's most likely 36 count though. And that little tiny baby raccoon's head is stitched 1/1. That's probably why I haven't picked it back up again. It's so cute though. It really is adorable. I'll get back to it. I will. Oh, wait a minute. I feel a sticker. When there's a sticker, there's a thing. It's 36 count. Platinum. See, 36 count platinum. Okay, now we know what it is. Mystery solved. I won't have to go back and figure that out. Did it. I did it already. I'm stitching this with all of the called for colors, by the way, which I don't always do. So if you're new to my channel, then just a little bit of background about me is that I used to live close to an LNS. I used to live right by Hobby House Needleworks. And they have recently moved, by the way. And while I was in New York, I did go in there. And I do have a story to tell you about that. I will tell you about that at the end. So I do not anymore. But in addition to that, I stitch a lot of my projects with very simple fabric and DMC threads. And the reason why is because I have a lot of projects, and I have a lot of projects that I want to stitch, and I simply just can't afford to go out and buy all of the fancy fabrics and all of the hand-dyed things. I very rarely stitch with silks because they can be costly, and I love, love, love watching Flosstubes where people are stitching with them. And I am so happy for everybody that has the opportunity to stitch with those items. But for me, I can justify it for some of my projects. So I have stitched with silk before, and I do stitch blah blah sometimes with fancy flosses. If I have it in my budget, I will. I look at them carefully. So like when I was at Angel Wings and I'm buying the Tiny Town series, I bought 2. I did buy some of the Weeks Dye Works and some of the Classic Colorworks threads, but I look at them to see the variegation and to see how variegated they are. If I don't think that they're variegated enough to swap them out, I use the DMCs. If I do think that they're variegated and I think that they're like gonna look like they're gonna make the piece look really awesome and great, I will purchase them. But I like to stitch using the loop method, and when you stitch with fancy flosses, if you're not familiar, you should, now I know you don't always, because I know that Kimberly from the Pat Quarter Shop does not always do this, because she also stitches with the loop method, but you should stitch 1 stitch at a time, and then you get the best variegation. I'm not always that intricate. Sometimes, yes. When we get to my Halloween Quaker, I'll show you that I am stitching a lot of that with the called for colors, and I am doing it 1x at a time so that I can get a really nice variegation. But I don't always do that. Sometimes I just do it. I'm just too lazy, and I do it with the loop strategy, and I just go. And you can still see the variegation on it. You can. It doesn't change it to the point where it's not very pretty or not good to look at or whatever. I did work on this one, so I can't show that one yet. Next up is Land That I Love. This is by Teresa Kogut. A lot of us are stitching this one. It should be very familiar to you if you're familiar with Flosstube. This is a mammoth piece. It's very large. I did want to work on this, and I did not. chose to work on the Baltimore Salt Box instead because I was closer to a finish on that one. So I plan to stitch on this in September. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden songs from the radio are popping into my head. So all the way home, if you are like, I'm a Zennial, just to like throw that out there. So I am older than 40, but younger than 50 at this point. And I was listening to like easy listening radio on Pandora all the way back from North Carolina. Now I drove back here by myself because my husband and 2 kids came 2 weeks before I did. So I stayed up there 2 weeks longer. And so all of these 80s soft rock songs are like playing through my head like constantly now. And it's great, but not so great at the same time. I'm gonna, like what my husband says is, they were living in my head rent-free right now. All right, so this is all I have done on Land That I Love, and I do want to get back to this and stitch on it because it is beautiful and I do love it. I am stitching this on a piece of Natural Raw Linen by Zweigert that I had custom cut for me at Hobby House Needleworks in 2022. So I started this in 2022, but I had to restart it because when I first started it, and when I first started it, did I do it up here? I was way too close to the edge. And so I had to restart it. So it was like way over here and I was way too close to the edge. And so I restarted it. And I had to frog. But it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be big. It's going to take up this whole piece. But it'll be worth it when it's done. It'll be gorgeous. And it's in a Made by Me project bag, which I have plans to make a lot more project bags too. And maybe put some on my Etsy shop. We shall see how that goes. All right. I took a lot of projects with me. And not... All right, worked on that, 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 and worked on that. All right, so now the rest of the projects that I have to show you are projects that I did work on, that I took, okay? And I do not have befores and afters of the projects, but that is okay. I'm just going to show you where I landed, okay? That's going to be what we'll do. All right, first up is December Trucking Along. This was a June call and a July call for me on WIP Go. Well, Stitching with the Housewives, that's how I have it on my WIP Go board, is Stitching with the Housewives. So I could stitch any Stitching with the Housewives pattern and I would still meet the criteria. And I chose to work on this one because it's my oldest Stitching with the Housewives WIP. In fact, it's my only WIP from them right now. I do have several that I have purchased that I do plan to stitch. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Belfast linen in the color charcoal. This is a Witchelt. Yes, this is Witchelt. And some people don't like stitching on Witchelt, and I understand because it's a little stiff, but I actually really like it. I'm stitching mine as one piece instead of as two. So it's one continuous piece. And I got a lot done on this. And this will definitely be coming back out because it's almost done. And this is where I am now. So I finished this whole tree because all I had before was just this star tree. And then the whole truck all the way across the bottom, and then I'm filling it in. I still have to do, I don't know why, I missed out on, there's a man-shaped branch over here. I don't know why I didn't do that. These are reindeer. I didn't have the right color with me, so I couldn't, just did their little white chest parts. This is hard to stitch on. I have to have really good lighting, and I have to be well awake to stitch on this, but it is beautiful. It's coming out really nice. I'm using mostly DMCs with this, but I do have a couple of the variegated colors in here. Like these, this is Classic Color Works Blue Jeans. This is, what is this? This red. Licorice. It is Ribbon Red. The yellow is Honeycomb. The light green is DMC. So, yeah, it looks great. It's coming out really nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm looking forward to finishing this because this was a 2021 start. It was a mania start in 2021. So I would like to have this done. Next up, what I worked on. Ugh, this is the bane of my existence. Let's talk about this one. It's The Most Wonderful Feast of the Year by Sue Hillis Designs. I love this pattern. I hate this project. So this is being stitched on 18 count time by Picture This Plus. 1/1. And I don't hate this project, but it's definitely, we go back and forth, this project and I, on how much we love one another. It is going to be finished this year by Thanksgiving, so I can get it out of my WIP pile. I started this the first time in 2021, the second time in 2021, and the third time in 2022. There's so many mistakes in this. Also, I hate that I'm doing it 1/1 because I feel like the colors are definitely not as vibrant that way. Could be the fabric too, but it's being stitched in all the correct colors. I didn't change any of them, but they're somehow their hue is very light. And I think it's because I'm doing it 1/1. So if we get it closer there, then you can kind of see there's different colors in there. So, I don't know. And then I think to myself, do I want to finish this? Do I want to UFO it? I do not want to UFO this. And the reason why is because I put so much effort into it. And I really do like the final result. So we're just going to keep going. Keep going. Keep on going. What is it? Was it the Brady Bunch? I'm going to keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Yeah, you know. You know. If you know, you know. If you don't, I'm sorry. You have to go back and watch some retro TV. All right, next up, I worked on this. This was a call for July. It is Hello Dear. I need to pull it up on here because I don't have a cover picture for it. This is by Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I already stitched Hello Pumpkin. And so I am stitching this on the same fabric that I stitched Hello, same size and fabric that I stitched Hello Pumpkin on. So there is Hello Dear. Oops. No, I don't want to win freebies. I'm trying to show off your beautiful cross stitch. All right, there we go. So, I ordered these PDF version right from the Caterpillar Cross Stitch website. They are from the UK, so it came out of my account in pounds. It was a little different, but my husband was like, "Did you make an international purchase?" Yes, I did.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri. Oh my goodness, stop listening. Stop, no. Oh my gosh, you won't stop. All right, anyways, I'm stitching this on 32 count smoky white. This is also Zweigert. Picture this plus. 28 count vintage smoky white cashel linen. And I got a lot of this done over the weekend. Actually, this past weekend I worked on it. It rained. So the last weekend I was in New York, I was actually working on this on Friday because Hurricane Debbie was going through Western New York, Central New York, and the southern tier, and a lot of flooding happened, very sadly, in some areas just south of where my campground is, actually. Or, yeah, was south, just south of them. Yep. So I was inside the camper all day, and this is what I worked on. So I had this part of the bird done, like this orange part or red part, and then this part, but I didn't have any of this done, none of that, and obviously none of this was done. I decided to work down instead of up. I worked up in the last one, so I decided to work down and get some of that tree done, because that part of the pattern the first time when I was stitching Hello Pumpkin was annoying to me. I don't know why. Maybe it was because it was just a lot of that blocked stitching. But it's very cute, and I'm very, very happy with this. Finally getting this started and getting going on this. So this was a July call. I still have about 5 hours to work on this in order to get to the WIP Go finish. But I will have no problem doing that because this is fun to work on. Oh, all right. Thought Adam was going to come in. Grace is with Jeremy. Adam's the only one home right now. Okay. Next up. So as you can see, I took a lot. We're already at 45 minutes. Okay. Is International Santas. Remember, this is the one where I get to see what it looks like, and I know what it looks like, but you don't. This came from a Better Homes and Gardens Keepsakes magazine. I have flashed a couple of times the chart. This chart is old. It is from the 2000 calendar. Better Homes and Gardens Keepsake calendar. I have been working on this since Mania in 2021. It is on a piece of 28 count Whisper Even Weave Zweigert again, with all the called for DMCs, and I am getting somewhere with this, guys. My plan for this is to finish it before Christmas this year, and I think I'm going to be able to do it. I have enjoyed this piece, but I'm ready to be done with it and have it off of my WIP board. So again, this is one of the 6 pieces. So actually I took, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I took 5 of the 6 projects that I have left from 2021 with me, and the only one I didn't work on was Quaker. That's the only one that I didn't work on. All right, so here it is. Oops. Hold that. So these are all different Santas from around the world. And then their names in their language are down below. As you can see, I'm working on Santa Claus right now. And then the last one will be Father Christmas. Now this has a lot of backstitch in it, but I'm not going to do any of it. I'm just going to do the French knots for the Santa's eyes. So pretty much what you see is what you get with this one. I might do the backstitch on the shoes for this guy because they're kind of those are kind of cool, but oh, and I do need to add the strings to these jingle bells. You might want to be able to see that, but otherwise I think I'm just going to kind of leave it without the back stitch, and I think it will be just fine. I'm sure it would be really pretty and beautiful with the back stitch, but I think that will just take an enormous amount of time, and I'm ready to say goodbye to this one. Well, not goodbye for good, but goodbye like I'm done with you. Finished. All of my 2021 starts, I'm ready to be like, okay, you're done. You're in your, you know, display form so that I can start viewing you from, you know, your display instead of from this project bag, like the constant project bag. Where did I put the project bag? This, by the way, was one of the first project bags I ever made. It's cute, but I found that this vinyl is not that good. I like the stiffer vinyl. I buy stiffer vinyl now. And this actually was, I made 2 bags like this, like my very first bags were made like this. And I do have plans to make a bunch more like this because I do like these. So, my Hello Dear's in the other one that I made. Okay, next up, Away We Ride came out over the weekend while I was watching Outlander with my very best friend. My last full day with her in New York was on Friday in front of the TV. All right, Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. This is the only Blackbird Designs that I have. I fell in love with this pattern 2 years ago when I saw it. Everybody was stitching it. I couldn't get the right colors. So this calls for all gentle arts, and I'm not using all of them. I'm using a lot of the DMCs, but I'm using Weeks Dye Works flosses because I couldn't get the Garden Gate or the Onyx because so many people I think were just stitching this pattern. You couldn't find those 2 colors like really anywhere when I was starting to stitch this. And so I don't think you can tell the difference. Like I did some color matching, like color conversions, and this is being stitched on a piece of Witchelt fabric. And it is antique raw linen, Witchelt. This is Witchelt. Did have this custom cut for me at Hobby House Needleworks, and I got a lot of the border done. So I am almost done with the border, and I am thrilled. This is pattern stitching though, so once you know the pattern, like you can really just kind of stitch while you're listening to something else because you don't really have to like look at the pattern. I mean, you do. I did when I had to make the, you know, the turns, but like you get used to doing it. So I can't really tell the difference between these colors and mine. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm not worried about it. Depending on how this one comes out, I may want to enter this in a fair. I think that this is so beautiful. It says, away we ride till it's darkest pitch to find the home of the Wicked Witch. And I think it was Stephanie from Just Keep Stitching that was stitching this when I first saw it. And then I was like, okay. And I immediately went to 1, 2, 3 Stitch, right? That's where I got this from. And bought it immediately. So this still needs about 5 hours of work to be able to be crossed off with my work board. Okay. I told you I took a lot of things. All right, this is a pattern that this is Potion Brews and Spells. I couldn't work on this, but for just a few minutes because I actually left the pattern at home. But because of it being a repeat, I was able to work on just a little small amount of it. I don't have the pattern right here because it's in my closet, but that's what this looks like. I was able to work down here along the bottom because it just matches the top. So even though I didn't have the pattern, I was still able to work on it. I'm stitching this on a piece of fiber on the whim. The plum? I think so. With $37.99. So I am looking forward to finishing this Halloween. I'm pretty sure I can. I'm not doing the whole thing because I'm keeping the alphabet out because my fabric isn't long enough for it. So, all right. Next up is my Halloween Quaker. Halloween Quaker by Leela's Studio. And this one I do have the pattern in my good notes. All right. So this is Halloween Quaker by Leela's Studio. I did buy this off of her Etsy shop. You can buy this pretty much everywhere. I love that it's PDF. I started this in 2022. I worked on it a lot in 2023, and I've worked on it a fair amount in 2024. It's been called for WIP twice, and I think it's on my WIP board one more time. I'm stitching it on 32 count Murky. It's supposed to be stitched on 30 or on 40 count Murky. So if you're familiar with this pattern, then you might have seen it a lot on the 40 count. People are stitching it 1/2, and I am stitching it 2/2, which I find the colors to be a lot more vibrant. Okay, so this is where I am with this. As you can see, I am getting somewhere. So I had all of this done pretty much by last summer. So all of this was done last summer. So this year I did this. I've done all of these motifs over here. So I had the witch's hat already stitched, but I accidentally had it off by a row, so I actually frogged it. If you saw my video, I don't know, maybe back in February or March, I can't remember which month, whenever it was called the last time, I talked about how I was thinking about leaving it alone and not frogging it to restitch it, but then I decided to restitch it anyway. So I did end up frogging the whole hat and restitching it. I got this whole motif done. This motif that I finished over while I was at camp. I'm actually almost out of this. This is Smoky by Classic Colorworks. I'm actually almost out. And I said I would show this to you when we got to it so you could see the variegation. And I don't know if you can see it super well. But like this is black coffee, and you can kind of see the variegation in that. This, you can see the variegation. It's harder though to see it in frog legs, and so I don't know that if I was stitching this again, I may not have gone with those colors. Oh, there's the honeycomb. Yeah. So yeah, I am stitching this with all the called for colors, DMC and Classic Colorworks. I'm sorry if I'm moving it around a lot and you're getting sick to your stomach. I don't mean to be doing that. It's just so large. But I do love stitching on this, and I will be stitching on this a lot in October, and my plan is to finish this before next Halloween. So I am ambitious, but I am not ambitious enough to think that I might be able to finish it by this Halloween. But by next Halloween, it is definitely a goal of mine to finish it. I still enjoy working on this, so it's not one of those projects that I'm like, let's get rid of this, because I still like working on it. All right, next up is Summer at the Shore. I worked on this, not too much, but some over the summer. This was one of my my 12 by 12s, 2023 New Year's Eve starts. I only started like 4 projects, and this was one of them. I've gotten quite a bit of this one done. Actually, this one is a very nice piece to stitch. I do enjoy stitching this very, very much. It's on a piece of 32 count platinum Belfast linen. Picture this plus. And there it is. So I spent quite a bit of time on the wing finishing that up. Again, this is another one that's just, you know, this is by Cottage Garden Samplings, and I have stitched 1, 2, 3. I have stitched and finished 3 of their projects already. And I have 2 as WIPs, this one, and I also have A Time for All Seasons, the January one, that I am also working on as a WIP. I did not take with me to New York. But I do have several of these, and I do have some that I think I'm going to give away. I'm going to do some giveaways, I think. When I hit 500 subscribers, I shouldn't say giveaway, because that can cause problems in the algorithm. I think I will pass the stash. I think that's the right way to say that, right? Because I was part of the Time for All Seasons, and was it the Time for All Seasons, or was it the Woodland Animals? No, it was the Time for All Seasons. I was part of that club from Crazy Annie Stitching, and I got all these projects. I don't like doing clubs like that because I don't like every pattern. So now I just buy patterns that I like instead of being part of clubs, because I had some patterns that came and I was like, I don't think I'm going to stitch this. Like, I don't think I want to stitch this. So those are the ones I think that I will be passing along to you guys. We hit 500 subscribers. And I will do a couple of those. All right, the last piece that I'm going to show you was a 2021 start, right? Yes. Flea Market Flowers by Lori Holt. I've been working on this for a long time. It was my in the car travel stitch. Oh my gosh, this pattern is so worn out. Like, look at it. It's like so well worn because I've had it. I take it everywhere I go in the car, and sometimes I work on it and sometimes I don't. But this summer, I made it a goal to work on it. And work on it I did. So before I left for New York, I had this column all done. I had that flower started. Okay. Wait until you see this. I am so proud of myself. This is on 25 count barley. It's the called for linen. Yes, it's our even weave. It's the called for fabric with all the called for DMCs. And this is where I am now. I'm so proud of this. I am so proud of this. I've just been stitching away. So we went to Darien Lake, which is a theme park in Western New York. And while my kids were on the water slides, because I don't do water slides, I did this whole motif, the whole thing. And then I just came back. We went on July 24th. So that's how, in just a few weeks, I was able to get all of this done, and then starting up here. So this last column, I don't know, guys, maybe a September finish. Wouldn't that be amazing if I finish this in September? This I started in the same month that everybody was doing the stitch along with this. I think it was June. And you were supposed to do like, I can't remember, a column a month, I think. I can't remember if it was a month, like the month of June that they were doing it in, or if it was across 3 months. I don't really remember it. All I know is that I didn't finish it and everybody else did. Or a lot of people haven't finished it, but I love this. My husband calls this the 1970s. It's going in my guest bedroom. It's going to go in my guest room. So it's beautiful and awesome, and I love it. And that concludes all of the WIPs that I worked on while I was in New York. Now, I did go to Hobby House Needleworks, and I did buy one pattern from them. And I don't have it because it's in the other room, and I'm not going to go get it. But they had their scrapped fabric back. After like 2 years of not having it, they had it back, and I bought like 20 pieces of scrap fabric, and I'm not going to go through them and show them all to you because that would take a long time, and I think it would be fun, but I just don't want to. Anyways, so I got all different sizes. I got counts, 28 counts and 32 counts, and I didn't buy anything like 40 count this time because I'm really, I think, very, very comfortable at 32. I'm just very comfortable with 32 count. I like the way it looks. I like that I can use 2 threads. Some people really like only using 1 over 2, and I really only like using 2 over 2. But I like the smaller stitch, so I go with the 32 count. I had a lovely conversation with the person that helped me there. I cannot remember her name, but if you're watching, thank you. I always have a lovely time when I'm there. I had a little dog there named Bear, and my son Adam was with me, and he very much enjoyed the time that he spent with the dog. And every time you say the dog, and my dogs are in here, every time you say the dog, my dogs look up like, are you talking about me? Poor Charlie has to have a cone on. He is so sad. He has like very sensitive skin, and when he was groomed this last time, he got some hot spots that he will not leave alone. So we need him to leave those spots alone so that they can heal and he can get better. But it is a sadness to see him because he normally has all this energy, and he's wearing this cone, and he just has no energy for life when he has the cone on. So when he goes outside, I take it off because he's distracted, and he's outside and he's running around and he's playing and he's having a great time, and we went for a nice walk, and he doesn't have to wear it when he's on the walk, and he's just, you know, his normal Charlie self. And then as soon as we come back inside, he starts to go after those hot spots, and the cone has to go back on. But he does very well with it, actually. He really does. And it's for his own good, even though I hate it. And he hates it sometimes, but I really hate it because I don't like to see my dog sad. But we can't have him tearing himself up either. All right, so that is it. That is all that she wrote for this. I guess it was kind of like a WIP parade in a way. I didn't show all of my WIPs. I am down to 26 WIPs. 26 WIPs. How many did I show you today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, I missed one. It fell out of the bag. Hang on a second. I didn't work on this very much. I did work on it a little bit, though. So it counts towards one of the ones I worked on. Emerald City by Satsuma Street. You can get this on Etsy. I got it from A World of Cross Stitch magazine. Here it is on her Etsy shop. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Some of you guys have been following me since I started this, and let me tell you that some of it was not easy to stitch. And I made a lot of mistakes. I had to do a lot of frogging, but now I think I'm on the right path. Like, I think I'm getting it. It's getting into a place where it's going to be okay. So like I said, I didn't work on this for like super long. On, what day was it? Saturday, maybe? Yes, I worked on this on Saturday because I left for New York, or for North Carolina on Sunday. So, it's in the hoop. This is on a piece of 28 count linen. Is it 28 count? Might be 32 count linen. I don't know. Anyways, it's one of those linens that you really have to pay attention to because it's got really thick threads and really thin threads. And so that's why it's in a hoop. I don't stitch always in a hoop. Sometimes I stitch using the sewing method. Like my flea market flowers, I don't stitch in a hoop or anything. I use the sewing method for that. But this one, because of the linen, I have to use it. So if you've been following me for a while, these guys here, this one here, that one there. Oh my gosh, I made so many mistakes on this one. I had to tear this out like 3 times to get it right. Now it is right. Now it's right. The actual Emerald City itself is done. Now I get to work on all of this fun stuff in the foreground. So, with the poppy field and the yellow brick road. So yeah, I only worked a little bit. I worked on this part right here. I filled all of that in. That's all I did. But I worked on it, so it counts. It counts. All right. So that's all she wrote. I'm not going to do a mid-year WIP parade because I pretty much showed you almost all of my WIPs. And as I work on some of the other ones that are put away in the closet right now, I'll pull them out and you'll get to see them, and I will do my regular WIP parade in December. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. What time is it? Oh, it's 9:30. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my projects. I really enjoyed talking to you again and getting in front of the camera. And I am going to be doing some Stitch with Me. I know I've been saying that, but I'm going to. I promise, I swear. As soon as I get a good setup again, I will do some Stitch with Me's with you because I really do love doing that. That's like something that I really love doing. So I know I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then you're like, oh, she says she's going to do it, and then she doesn't. But I promise you, I'm going to try. I hope that you all have a great time stitching. Please share with me what you're working on. If you're working on something while you're watching me, please feel free to ask questions, send me messages, say hi. Please interact with my video because the more interactions I get, the more views, and it shows up on people's like For You page on their algorithm for their YouTube. And then I can reach more viewers, which I would love to make some friends and actually be able to chat with people that watch my videos. You can follow me at kimberly.chamberlain.14 on Instagram. I only post cross stitch stuff for the most part there. I mean, sometimes when I post on Facebook, it also posts on my Instagram. So you might see some cute pictures of my kids and stuff like that on my Instagram. But for the most part, I do try to keep my personal posts on Instagram to cross stitch only. Like I said, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask. I think I gave you all of the fabrics that I'm using. If not, if you have a question about any of the projects, please let me know. I very rarely list them all in the description. It takes a long time to list them there, and I tell you who the project or what the project is and who the designer is when I talk about them. So you know, then that way I am giving, you know, obvious credit to the designer because I want to do that. But it takes me so long to upload a video onto YouTube. I'm not kidding. Sometimes it takes, like, I will start the process of uploading this video when I go to bed, and guaranteed it at 3 o'clock in the morning it might still be uploading. That's how long it takes me. So I don't know if it's my file size or if it's my internet. I don't really know. I don't really understand it, but you know, sometimes it's really quick and it goes through very quickly, but for the most part, it takes forever to load. So, the faster I can get it up and on to YouTube, the better. I probably won't film again before September, so I hope you have a really good rest of your summer. I hope you're enjoying whatever that you're stitching on. I really, really appreciate you coming and spending some time with me. Please like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.